for us old guys, before smartphones, iPhones, the internet, iPads, and if you wanted to find out about another people, if you wanted to learn about another country, you had to break open a World Book Encyclopedia, right, or an Encyclopedia Britannica, in order to find out the population, what their economy was like, all those different things about another place. Or you watch National Geographic, right, or something on TV. The best way, however, to do that, to learn about another place, is to actually live in that country, live the daily life, meet the people, go through their experience with them. And that's what our speaker this afternoon did, Rafe Bartholomew. He combined the two things I love the most, basketball and the Philippines, and he tells a very genuine story, an account in a lot of ways that explains what the struggle is and what the beauties of being a Filipino is. And I'm going to do a shameless plug for Rafe right now. The book is called Pacific Rims, okay? It's beer men ballin' in flip-flops and the Philippines' unlikely love affair with basketball. If you haven't gotten it yet, go on Amazon and pick it up. But he's going to share a little bit about that experience with us, and it's great that someone's able to step in a sense, as a third party observer, and see the beauty of who it is we are as a people. So without further ado, Rafe Bartholomew.
Dahil PCN ngayon, dapat mag-umpisa sa Tagalog. Magandang hapon po at marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Rafe Bartholomew, and I'll switch back to English. But before I begin, I really want to thank Magkaisa and X's and O's Basketball Foundation and everyone here today for inviting me to be a part of this day. I told Russell yesterday and everyone else who I met that pretty much as long as I have been aware of the Filipino American community, I've been hearing about PCN at different schools in California, and I'm sort of very happy to be here to witness my first one tonight. Russell explained a little bit of it, how I got to be in this position, but I'll try and go a little farther. It feels a little intimidating and of course honoring, or very I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to sort of talk about this, which became sort of my labor of love. Basketball drew me to the Philippines. Like a lot of guys I've met here, a lot of people I've met throughout my life. I played all the time. I love the sport, and around the time I was graduating college, I just learned that basketball played this outsized role in Philippine society. And I applied for a grant to study it, studied the role of basketball in Philippine culture. And then from there, I was lucky enough to get it. It financed my first year in Metro Manila. I lived on Katipunan Avenue, Quezon City. That book turned that project turned from 1 year into 3 years, during which I did as much as I possibly could to learn about, participate in, and observe the culture of basketball in the country. And that meant playing on the street corners, playing on dirt courts under bugle trees, playing in janelas, playing in provincial tournaments, watching a lot of the professional and college level leagues, interviewing people, and just being trying to become as much a part of that culture as I possibly could, and throwing myself into it. I guess, and over after those 3 years, I was lucky enough to turn that into the book that Russell just showed you, and it really, I mean, it changed my life. It changed who I am. Before moving to the Philippines in 2005, was probably like a lot of other white Americans who don't know much about the country. Whatever I might have learned in high school and college history classes, which I was talking to Russell yesterday, said it's about 3 paragraphs. You know, 1 paragraph on the Philippine-American War, 1 paragraph on World War II, and 1 paragraph on the 1980s. And pretty much all those paragraphs are wrong, or partially wrong. You know, I went from sort of that blank state to now, even though I work, you know, I have a job at ESPN where I write about the NBA and edit stories on all major sports, I still spend at least as much time thinking about, reading about, you know, about the Philippines, about basketball league, but also current events, and just, you know, most of my spare energy that I have is sort of devoted to keeping up with and staying involved with the Philippines after I moved back here. I guess, and because of that, it sort of led to me getting opportunities like this to come speak at PCN here in Fresno State, which means especially a lot because, as I'm sure a lot of people in here know, the Central Valley in California is sort of the historical cradle of the Filipino-American community in at least the continental United States. But, you know, I have been in contact with, you know, on the internet now with people, you know, all over the world, OFWs in Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Singapore, so that, you know, I went from being someone with a pretty narrow American point of view to having being part of a real global community, and I feel really, really grateful that the people have been generous enough to let me become a part of that. And, you know, I thought that sort of dovetails nicely with the theme of tonight's PCN, which is sort of about the diversity within the Filipino community. And my experience watching basketball in the country, you know, that was a unique window to really learn about that diversity among Filipinos, where on every, say, professional or college team, there are players from Cagayan de Oro, Davao, places in, you know, which are in Mindanao. There are Bisaya-speaking players from Cebu and Leyte. There are, you know, Ilonggo players, players from Pangasinan, players from the Kapampangan players. So it's really, and seeing how they all sort of mixed in some ways and also preserved their own regional identities within that you know, taught me a lot about how diverse the entire country is. And I guess that basketball was, in a lot of ways, in this ways, in other ways, I should say, a mirror for Philippine society as a whole. And then, of course, beyond sort of the regional differences within each team, there are also the integration in the past 20 years of first a lot of Filipino-American players, and now also players with Filipino backgrounds from Europe and Papua New Guinea. I mean, really, as people in here know, there are Filipino communities pretty much everywhere in the world, and many of them, if they get a chance to go back and try to join the PBA. That I observed sort of the way that while there are certainly some tensions when players who were born abroad, born in the United States, born in Europe, come back to the Philippines as balikbayans and play in the local league. And there's, of course, a little tension between players who are raised in the country and those who are raised outside. But over time, I noticed it in the 3 years that I was living there, and also have sort of tracked it throughout the history of the game. Over time, those differences are being they're less, they seem less important, and what is becoming more important, what should be more important, are the people's shared roots. And while I wouldn't say it's perfect situation right now, it's moving towards something like that, where what really matters is what makes players, what makes them all Filipino, and what makes them all proud to be Filipino. And I'm excited to see tonight's performance and watch them address some of the issues about all the ways that a group of people, in this case, I guess a group of people living in a house where things start getting real, how they can be very different but all share something very, very important. And so I think I've rambled on enough. I want to thank everyone for letting me be here today. It really, really is an honor, and I'm really looking forward to a great performance. Thank you.
All right, on behalf of Magkaisa and XNO's basketball, I'm going to present you with a small token of appreciation. XNO basketball.
Thank you.